Hush, never tell me. I take it much unkindly that thou, Iago, who hast had my purse as if the strings were thine, shouldest know of this.
Blood, but you will not hear me. If ever I did dream of such a matter, abhor me.
Thou toldst to me thou didst hold him in thy hate.
Despise me if I do not. 3 great ones of the city in personal suit to make me his lieutenant off cap to him. By the faith of man, I know my price. A Moor no worse a place but he, as loving his own pride and purposes, evades them with a bummus circumstance, horribly stuffed with epithets of war. And in conclusion, none suits my mediators. For, certes, says he, I have already chose my officer. What was he? Forsooth, a great arithmetician, one Michael Cassio, a Florentine, a fellow almost damned in a fair wife, that never set a squadron in the field, nor the division of a battle knows more than a spinster. Unless the bookish theoric or in the Togid council can propose as masterly as he, mere prattle without practice is all his soldiership. But he, sir, had the election, and I, of whom his eyes had seen the proof at Rhodes, at Cyprus, and on other grounds, Christian and heathen, must be bleed and calmed by debtor and creditor. This countercaster he, in good time must his lieutenant be, and I, God bless the mark, his moorship's ancient.
Oh, by heaven, I rather would have been his hangman.
Aye, there's no remedy. 'Tis the curse of service. Preferment goes by letter and affection, and not by old gradation. For each second stood heir to the first. Now, sir, bejudge yourself whether I, in any term, am a fin to love the Moor.
I would not follow him then.
Oh, sir, content you. I follow him to serve my turn upon him. We cannot all be masters, nor all masters cannot be truly followed. You shall mark many a duteous and knee-crooking knave that, doting on his own obsequious bondage, wears out his time, much like his master's ass, for not for provender, and when he's old, cashiered. Whip me, such honest knaves. Others there are who, trimmed in forms and visages of duty, keep yet their hearts attending on themselves, and by throwing such shows of service on their lords, do well thrive by them. When they have lined their coats, do themselves homage. These fellows have some soul, and such a one do I profess myself for sure. Sir, it is as sure as you are Rodrigo. Were I the Moor, I would not be Iago. In following him, I follow but myself. Heaven is my judge, not I for love and duty, but seeming so for my peculiar end. For when my outward action doth demonstrate the native act and figure of my heart, in compliment extern, it is not long after. But I will wear my heart upon my sleeve for daws to peck at. I am not what I am.
What a full fortune does the thick lips owe, if he can carry it thus.
Call up her mother, rouse her, make after her, poison her delight, proclaim her in the streets, incense her kinsmen, and though she in a fertile climate dwell, plague her with flies, though that her joy be joy, yet throw such changes of vexation on't, as it may lose some color.
Oh, here's her mother's house, I'll call aloud.
Do, with like timorous accent and dire yells, by night and negligence, the fire is spied in populous cities.
What ho! Barbentia!
Awake!
Signora Barbentia! Ho!
Thieves! Thieves! Look to your house, your daughter, and your bags! Thieves! Thieves!
What is the reason of this terrible summons? What is the matter there?
Signora, is all your family within?
Are your doors locked?
Why? Wherefore ask you this?
Zoons, madam, you were robbed. Put on your gown, your heart is burst. You have lost half your soul, even now, very now. An old black ram is tupping your white. You, arise, I say. Awake the snorting citizens with the bell, or else the devil will make a grandsire of you. Arise, I say.
What, have you lost your wits?
Most Reverend Signora, do you know my voice?
Not I. What are you?
My name is Rodrigo.
Oh. The worst are welcome. I have charged thee not to haunt about my doors. In honest plainness thou hast heard me say.
Yes.
My daughter is not for thee, and now in madness, being full of supper and distempering draughts, upon malicious bravery dost thou come to start my quiet.
Madam.
But thou must needs be sure, my spirits and my place have in their power to make this bitter to thee.
Patience, good madam.
What tellest thou me of robbing? This is Venice. My house is not a grange.
Most grave Barbentia, in simple and pure soul I come to.
Zoons, madam, you are one of those that will not serve God if the devil bids you. Because we come to do you service, and you think we are ruffians. You'll have your daughter covered with a Barbary horse. You'll have your nephews neigh to you. You'll have coursers for cousins and jennets for turbans.
What profane wretch art thou?
I am one, madam, that comes to tell you your daughter and the Moor are making the peace with two backs.
Thou art a villain!
You are a senator.
This thou shalt answer. I know thee, Rodrigo.
Madam, I will answer anything, but I beseech you, if it be your pleasure and most wise consent, as partly I find it is, that your fair daughter, at this odd even and dull watch a night, transported with no worse nor better guard, but with a knave of common hire, a gondolier to the gross clasps of a lascivious Moor. If this be known to you, and by your allowance, we then have done you bold and saucy wrongs. But, if you know not this, my manners tell me we have your own rebuke. Do not believe that from the sense of all civility, I thus would play and trifle with your reverence. Your daughter, if you have not given her leave, I say again, hath made a gross revolt, tying her duty, beauty, wit, and fortune to an extravagant and wheeling stranger of here and everywhere. Straight, satisfy yourself. If she be in her chamber or your house, let loose on me the justice of the state for thus deluding you.
Strike on the tender hoe! Give me a taper! This accident is not unlike my dream. Belief if it oppresses me already. Light, I say! Light!
Farewell, for I must leave you. It seems not meet nor wholesome to my place to be productive, as if I stay, I shall against the Moor. For I know the state, however this may gall him with some check, cannot with safety cast him, for he's embarked with such loud reasons to the Cyprus war, which even now stands in act. For their very souls, another of his fathom, they have none to lead their business. In which regard, though I do hate him as I do Hellpains, yet for necessity of present life, must show out a flag in sign of love, which is indeed but sign, that you shall surely find him lead to the Sagittary, the raised search, and there will I be with him. So, farewell.
It is too true and evil. Gone she is, and what is to become of my despise in time is not but bitterness. Now, Rodrigo, where dost thou see her? Oh, unhappy girl, with the Moor, sayest thou? Who would be a mother? How dost thou know 'twas she? Oh, she deceives me past thought. What said she to you? Are they married, think you?
Truly, I think they are.
Oh, heaven! How got she out? Treason of the blood. Mothers from hence, trust not your daughters' minds by what you see them act. Is there not charms by which the properties of youth and maidhood may be abused? Have you not read, Rodrigo, of some such thing?
Yes, madam, I have indeed.
Call up my brother! Oh, would you had had her. Some one way, some another. Do you know where we may apprehend her and the Moor?
I think I can discover him, if you please to go along with me.
Pray you, lead on. On good Rodrigo, I will deserve your pains.
Though in the trade of war I have slain men, yet do I hold it very stuff of the conscience to do no contrived murder. I lack iniquity, sometimes to do me service. 9 or 10 times I thought to lurked him here under the ribs.
'Tis better as it is.
Nay, but he prated and spoke such scurvy and provoking terms against your honor that with the little godliness I have, I full did hard forbear him. But, I pray you, sir, are you fast married? Be assured, the Magnifica is much beloved, and hath in her effect a voice potential as double as the Duke's. She will divorce you, or put upon you what restraint and grievance the law, with all her might to enforce it, will give her cable.
Let her do her spite. My services which I have done the signory shall outtongue her complaints. 'Tis yet to know, which, when I know that boasting is an honor, I shall promulgate. I fetch my life and being from men of royal siege, and my demerits may speak, unbonneted, to as proud a fortune as this that I have reached. For know, Iago, but that I love the gentle Desdemona, I would not my unhoused free condition put into circumscription and confine for the sea's worth. But look, what light comes yon?
That is the raised mother. You were best go in.
Not I must be found. My parts, my title, and my perfect soul shall manifest me rightly. Is it she?
By Janus, I think no.
My lieutenant? The goodness of the night upon you! What is the news?
The Duke does greet you, General, and he requires your haste post-haste appearance even on the instant.
What is the matter, think you?
Something from Cyprus, as I may divine. It is a business of some heat. The galleys have sent a dozen sequin messengers this very night at one another's heels, and consuls raised and met are at the Duke's already. You have been hotly called for. When, being not at your lodging to be found, the Senate hath sent about 3 several quests to search you out.
'Tis well I am found by you. I will but spend a word here in the house and go with you.
Ancient, what makes he here?
He tonight hath boarded a land correct. It proved lawful price. He's made forever.
I do not understand.
He's married.
To who?
Married to... Come, Captain, will you go?
Have with you.
Here comes another troop to seek for you.
It is Brabantia, General. Be advised, she comes to bad intent.
Hold up, stand there.
Signora, it is the Moor.
Down with him, thief!
You, Rodrigo, come, sir, I am for you.
Keep up your bright swords, for the dew will rust them. Good Signora, you shall more command with years than with your weapons.
O thou foul thief! Where hast thou stowed my daughter? Damned as thou art, thou hast enchanted her. For I'll refer me to all things of sense, if she in chains of magic were not bound. Whether a maid so tender, fair, and happy, so opposite to marriage, that she shunned the wealthy curled darlings of our nation, would ever to incur a general mock, run from her garden to the sooty bosom of such a thing as thou, to fear, not to delight. Judge me the world if 'tis not gross in sense, that thou hast practiced on her with foul charms, abused her delicate youth with drugs or minerals that weakens motion. I'll have it disputed on, 'tis probable and palpable to thinking. I therefore apprehended to attach thee for an abuser of the world, practice of arts inhibited and out of warrant. Lay hold upon him, if he do resist, subdue him at his peril.
Hold your hands, both you of my inclining, and the rest. Were it my cue to fight, I should have known it without a prompter. Whither will you that I go to answer this your charge?
To prison, till fit time of law and course of direct session call thee to answer.
What if I do obey? How will the Duke be therewith satisfied, whose messenger is here by my side upon some peasant business of the state to bring me to him?
'Tis true, most worthy Signora. The Duke's in council, and your noble self, I am sure, is sent for.
How? The Duke in council? In this time of night? Let us away. Mine's not an idle cause. The Duke himself, or any of my brothers of the state, could not but feel this wrong as 'twere their own. For such actions may have passage free. Bond slaves and pagans shall our statesmen be.
There's no composition in these news that gives them credit.
Indeed, they are disproportioned. My letters say 107 gallons.
And mine, 140.
And mine 200. But though they jump not on a just account, as in these cases where the aim reports 'tis oft with difference, yet do they all confirm a Turkish fleet, and bearing up to Cyprus.
Nay, it is possible enough to judgment. I do not so secure me in the error, but the main article I do approve in fearful sense.
The Turkish preparation makes for roads. So was I bid report here to the state by Senor Angelo.
How say you by this change?
This cannot be by no assay of reason. 'Tis a pageant to keep us in false gaze. When we consider the importance of Cyprus to the Turk, and let ourselves again but understand that as it more concerns the Turk than Rhodes, so may he with more facile question bear it, for it stands not in such warlike brace, but altogether lacks the abilities that Rhodes is dressed in. If we make thought of this, we must not think the Turk so unskillful to leave that latest which concerns him first, neglecting an attempt of ease and gain, to wake and wage a danger profitless.
Nay, in all confidence, he's not for Rhodes. How many, as you guess?
Of 30 sail, and now they do restem their backward course, bearing with frank appearance their purposes towards Cyprus. Signor Montano, your trusty and most valiant servitor, with his free duty recommends you thus, and prays you to believe him.
'Tis certain then for Cyprus.
Here comes Brabantia and the valiant Moor.
Valiant Othello, We must straight employ you against the general enemy Ottoman. I did not see you. Welcome, gentle Signora. We lacked your counsel and your help tonight.
So did I yours. Good your grace pardon me, neither my place nor aught I heard of business hath raised me from my bed. Nor doth the general care take hold on me, for my particular grief is of so floodgate and overbearing nature that it ingluts and swallows other sorrows, and it is still itself.
Why? What's the matter?
My daughter! Oh, my daughter!
Dead?
To me. She is abused, stolen from me, and corrupted by spells and medicines bought of mountebanks. Being so nature so preposterously to err, being not deficient, blind, or lame of sense, sans witchcraft could not.
Whoe'er he be that in this foul proceeding hath thus beguiled your daughter of herself and you of her, the bloody book of law you shall yourself read in the bitter letter after your own sense. Yea, though our proper son stood in your action.
Humbly, I thank your grace. Here is the man, this Moor, whom now it seems your special mandate for the state affairs hath hither brought.
We are very sorry for it.
What, in your own part, can you say to this?
Nothing! But this is so.
Most potent, grave, and reverend signory, my very noble and approved good masters, that I have ta'en away this woman's daughter, it is most true. True. I have married her. The very head in front of my offending hath this extent, no more. Rude am I in my speech, and am little blessed with the soft phrase of peace, for since these arms had 7 years' pith, till then some 9 moons wasted, they've spent their dearest action in the tented field. And little can I speak of this great world more than pertains to the feats and broils of battle, and therefore little can I grace my cause in speaking for myself. But, by your gracious patience, I will a round unvarnished tale deliver of my whole course of love. What drugs, what charms, what conjuration, and what mighty magic, for such proceeding I am charged withal, I won her daughter.
A maiden, never still and quiet that her motion blushed at herself. And she, in spite of nature, of years, of country, credit, everything, to fall in love with what she feared to look on? Is it a judgment made and most imperfect, that will confess perfection so can err against all rules of nature, and must be driven to find out practices of cunning hell why this should be? I therefore vouch again that with some mixtures, powerful o'er the blood, or some dram conjured to this effect, he wrought upon her!
To vouch, this is no proof without more wider and more overt tests than these thin habits and poor likelihoods of modern seeming do prefer against him.
But, Othello, speak. Did you by indirect and forced courses subdue and poison this young maid's affections? Or came it by request, and such fair question as soul to soul afforded?
I do beseech you, send for the lady to the Sagittary, and have her speak of me before her mother. If you do find me foul in her report, the trust, the office I do hold of you, not only take away, but let your sentence even fall upon my life.
Fetch Desdemona hither.
Ancient, conduct them. You best know the place. And, till she come, as truly as to heaven, I shall confess the vices of my blood. So, justly to your grave ears I'll present how I did thrive in this fair lady's love, and she in mine.
Say it, Othello.
Her father loved me, oft invited me, still questioned me the story of my life from year to year, the battles, sieges, fortunes that I have passed. I ran it through, even from my boyish days, to the very moment that he bade me tell it, wherein I spoke of most disastrous chances, of moving accidents by flood and field, of hairbreadth escapes in imminent deadly breach, of being taken by the insolent foe and sold to slavery, of my redemption thence, and portents of my travels history, whereof by anters vast and deserts idle, rough quarries, rocks, and hills whose heads touch heaven, 'twas my hint to speak, such was the process, and of the cannibals whom each other eat, the anthropophagi and men whose heads do grow beneath their shoulders. These things to hear would Desdemona seriously incline. But still the house affairs would draw her thence, which, ever as she could with haste dispatch, she'll come again and with greedy ear devour up my discourse. Which I, observing, took once a pliant hour to Draw from her a prayer of earnest heart, that I would all my pilgrimage dilate. Whereof by parcels she had something heard, but not attentively, I did consent, and often did beguile her of her tears when I did speak of some distressful stroke my youth had suffered. My story being done, she gave me for my pains a world of sighs. She swore, in faith, 'twas strange, 'twas passing strange. 'Twas pitiful, 'twas wondrous pitiful. She wished she had not heard it, and yet she wished heaven had made her such a man. She thanked me, and bade me, if I did have a friend that loved her, I should but teach him how to tell my story, and that would woo her. Upon this hint I spake. She loved me for the dangers I had passed, and I loved her that she did pity them. This only is the witchcraft I have used. Here comes the lady. Let her witness it.
I think this tale would win my daughter too. Good, Brabantia, take up this mangled matter at the best. Men do their broken weapons rather use in their bare hands.
I pray you hear her speak. If she confessed she was half the wooer, destruction on my head if my bad blame light on the man. Come hither, gentle mistress. Do you perceive in all this noble company where most you owe obedience?
My noble mother, I do perceive here a divided duty. To you I am bound for life and education. My life and education both do learn me how to respect you. You are the lady of duty. I am hitherto your daughter. But here is my husband. And so much duty as my father showed to you, preferring you before his mother, so much I challenge that I may profess due to the Moor, my lady.
God be with you. I have done. Please, your grace, on to the state affairs. I'd rather to adopt a child than get it. Come hither, Moor. I hear do give thee with all my heart, which but thou hast already. With all my heart I would keep from thee. For your sake, Jewel, I am glad in soul I have no other child. For thy escape would teach me tyranny, to hang clogs on them. I have done, my lord.
Let me speak like yourself and lay a sentence, which, as agrees or step, may help these lovers into your favor. When remedies are past, the griefs are ended, by seeing the worst which late on hopes depended. To mourn a mischief that is past and gone is the next way to draw new mischief on. What cannot be preserved when fortune takes patience, her injury a mockery makes. The robbed that smile steals something from the thief. He robs himself that spends a bootless grief.
So let the Turk of Cyprus us beguile. We lose it not, so long as we can smile. He bears the sentence well that nothing bears, but the free comfort which from thence he hears. But he bears both the sentence and the sorrow, that to pay grief must of poor patience borrow. These sentences to sugar or to gall, being strong on both sides, are equivocal. But words are words I never yet did hear. That the bruised heart was piercing through the ear. I humbly beseech you, proceed ye to affairs of state.
The Turk, with the most mighty preparation, makes for Cyprus. Othello, the fortitude of the place is best known to you, and though we have there a substitute of most allowed sufficiency, yet opinion, a sovereign mistress of effects, throws a more safer voice on you. You must therefore be content to slubber the gloss of your new fortunes with this more stubborn and boisterous expedition.
The tyrant custom, most grave senators, hath made the flinty and steel couch of war my thrice-driven bed of down. I do agonize in natural and prompt alacrity I find in hardness, and do undertake this present wars against the Ottomites. Humbly, therefore, bending to your state, I crave fit disposition for my wife, due reference of place and exhibition with such accommodation and resort as levels with her breeding.
If you please, be it her mother's.
I'll not have it so.
Nor I.
Nor I. I would not there reside to put my mother in impatient thoughts by being in her eyes. Most gracious Duke, to my unfolding lend your prosperous ear and let me find a charter in your voice to assist my sinfulness. What would you, Desdemona? That I did love the Moor to live with him. My downright violence and storm of fortune may trumpet to the world. My heart subdued even to the very quality of my lord. I saw Othello's visage in his mind, and to his honors and his most valiant parts did I my soul. So that, dear lords, if I be left behind a moth of peace, and he to go to the war, the rights for why I love him are bereft me. And I, a heavy interim, shall support by his dear absence. Let me go with him.
Let her have your voice. Vouch with me, heaven. I therefore beg it not to please the palate of my appetite, nor to comply with heat, the young effects in me defunct, or proper satisfaction, but to be held as free and bounteous to her mind. And heaven defend your good souls, that you think I will your great and serious business scant, for she is with me. No, when light-winged toys a feathered cupid seal with wanton dullness my speculative and office instruments, that my discord shall corrupt and taint my business, let housewives make a skillet of my helm, and make all indine and base adversities make head against my estimation.
Be it as you shall privately determine, either for her stay or going. The affair cries haste, and speed must answer it.
You must away tonight.
Tonight, my lord. This night.
With all my heart.
At 9, if the morning, here we'll meet again. Othello, leave some officer behind, and he shall our commission bring to you, and such things else of quality and respect as doth import you.
So please your grace, my ancient, a man he is of honesty and trust, to his conveyance I assign my wife, with what else needful your good grace shall think to be sent after me.
Let it be so. Good night to everyone. And gentle Signora, if virtue no delighting beauty lack, your son-in-law is far more fair than black.
Adieu, brave Moor. Use Desdemona well.
Look to her more, if thou hast eyes to see. She has deceived her mother, and made thee.
My life upon her faith. Honest Iago, my Desdemona must I leave to thee. I prithee, let thy wife attend on her, and bring them both after in the best advantage. Come, Desdemona, I have but an hour of love, of worldly direction to spend with thee. We must obey the time.
Iago!
What sayest thou, noble heart?
What will I do, thinkest thou?
Why,
Go to bed and sleep.
I will incontinently drown myself.
If thou dost, I shall never love thee after. Why, thou silly gentleman?
It is silliness to live, when to live is torment. And then we have a prescription to die, when death is our physician.
Oh, villainous. I have looked upon the world for 4 times 7 years, and ever since I could distinguish betwixt a benefit and an injury, I never found a man that knew how to love himself. I would say I would drown myself for the love of a guinea hen. I would change my humanity with a baboon.
What should I do? I confess it is my shame to be so fond, but it is not my virtue to amend it.
Virtue? A fig. 'Tis in ourselves that we are thus. Our bodies are our gardens, which our wills are gardeners. So, if we will plant nettles or sow lettuce, set hyssop and weed up thyme, supply it with one gender of herbs or distract with many, either to have it sterile with idleness or manured with industry. Why, the corrigible authority of this lies in our wills. If the beam of our scale of reason, poise another of sensuality, why the blood and baseness of this could conduct us to most preposterous conclusions. But we have reason to cool our raging motions, our carnal strains, our embittered lusts, whereof I take this that you call love to be sect or scion.
It cannot be.
It is merely a lust of the blood and a permission of the will. Come, be a man. Drown thyself, drown cats and blind puppies. I have professed me thy friend, and I confess me knit to thy deserving with cables of perdurable toughness. I could never better stead thee than now. Put money in your purse. Follow thou the wars. Defeat thy favor with a usurped beard. I say, put money in your purse. It cannot be long that Desdemona shall continue her love to the Moor. Money in your purse, nor he his to her. It was a violent commencement in her, and thou shalt see an answerable sequestration. Put money in your purse. These Moors are changeable in their wills. Fill thy purse with money. The food that to him is now as luscious as locust shall be to him shortly as acerb as the coloquintida. She must have change for youth. When she is sated with his body, she will find the error of her choice. She must have change. She must. Therefore, make money. If thou wilt needs damn thyself, do it in a more delicate way than drowning. Make all the money thou canst. If a frail vow betwixt an erring barbarian and a super-subtle Venetian be not too hard for my wits and all the tribe of hell, thou shalt enjoy her. Therefore, make money. A pox on drowning thyself, it is clean out of the way. Seek thou rather be hanged, encompassing thy joy, than be drowned and go without her.
Will thou be fast to my hopes if I depend on the issue?
Thou art sure of me. Go, make money. I have told thee often, and I retell thee again and again. I hate the Moor. My cause is hardened, thine hath no less reason. If thou canst cuckold him, thou dost thyself a pleasure, me a sport. There are many events in the womb of time which will be delivered. Traverse, go, provide thy money. We will have more of this tomorrow. Adieu.
Where shall we meet in the morning?
At my lodging.
I'll be with thee betimes.
Go to, farewell. Do you hear, Rodrigo?
What say you?
No more of drowning. Do you hear?
I am changed.
Go to, farewell. Put money enough in your purse.
I'll sell all my land.
Thus do I ever make my fool my purse. For I might gain knowledge should profane if I would time expend in such a snipe, but for my sport, profit. I hate the Moor, and it is thought abroad that twixt my sheets he's done my office. I know not if it be true, but I, for mere suspicion in that kind, will do as if for surety. He holds me well, the better shall my purpose work on him. Cassio's a proper man. Let's see now. To get his place and to plume up my will in double knavery. How? How? Let me see. After some time to abuse Othello's ear that he's too familiar with his wife. He hath a person and a smooth disposed to be suspected, framed to make women false. The Moor is of a free and open nature, the things men honest, that but seem to be so, and will as tenderly be led by the nose as asses are. I have it. It is engendered. Hell and night must bring this monstrous birth to the world's light.
It is a high-wrought flood. I cannot, twixt the heaven and the main, descry a sail. Methinks the wind hath spoken aloud at land. Polar blast near shook our battlements. If it hath ruffied so upon the sea, what ribs of oak when mountains melt on them can hold the
you, the valiant of this warlike isle that so approved the Moor. Oh, let the heavens give him defense against the elements, for I have lost him on a dangerous sea.
Is he well shipped?
His bark is stoutly timbered, and his pilot a very expert and approved allowance. Therefore my hopes, not surfeited to death, stand in bold cure.
A sail! A sail!
What noise?
The ship is here put in. On the brow sea stand ranks of people, and they cry, a sail!
Oh, my hopes do shape him for the governor.
They do discharge their shot of courtesy, our friends at least.
I pray you, sir, go forth and give us truth who 'tis that has arrived.
I shall.
The good lieutenant, is your general wide?
Most fortunately, he hath achieved a maid that paragons description and wild fame, one that, in the essential vesture of creation, does tire the engineer. Oh, how now? Who is put in?
'Tis one Iago, ancient to the general.
Has had most favorable and happy speeds. Tempests themselves, high seas and howling winds, the guttered rocks and congregated sands, traitors in steep to clog the guiltless keel, as having sense of beauty do omit their mortal nature, letting go safely by the divine Desdemona.
What is she?
She that I spake of, our great captain's captain, left in the conduct of the bold Iago, whose footing here anticipates our thoughts a sennight speed. Oh, great Jove, Othello guard, and swell his sail with thine own powerful breath, that he may bless this bay with his tall ship, make love's quick pants in Desdemona's arms, bring renewed fire to our extincted spirits, and bring all Cyprus comfort. Oh, behold, the riches of the ship is come on shore. Hail to thee, lady, and the grace of heaven before, behind thee, and on every hand in wheel thee round.
I thank you, valiant Cassio. What tidings can you tell me of my lord?
He is not yet arrived, nor know I aught but that he is well and will be shortly here.
Oh, my fierce interprets. How lost you company?
The great contention of the sea and skies parted our fellowship.
A sail! A sail!
But hark, a sail!
They give their greeting to the citadel. This likewise is a friend.
See for the news. Good ancient, you are welcome. Welcome, mistress. Let it not gall your patience, good Iago, that I extend my manners. 'Tis my breeding that gives me this bold show of courtesy. Sir, would she give you so much of her lips as of her tongue she oft bestows on me? You would have enough.
Alas, she has no speech.
In faith, too much. I find it still when I list to sleep. Marry before your ladyship, I grant. She puts her tongue a little in her heart and chides with thinking.
You have little cause to say so.
Oh, come on! You are pictures out of doors, bells in your parlor, wild cats in your kitchen, saints in your injuries, devils being offended, players in your huswifery, and huswives in your beds.
Oh, fie upon thee, slanderer!
Hey, it is true, or else I am a Turk. You rise to play, and you go to bed to work.
You shall not write my praise.
No, let me not.
What wouldst thou write of me if thou shouldst praise me?
Oh, gentle lady, do not put me to it, for I am nothing if not critical.
Come on, essay. There's one gone to the harbor.
Aye, madam.
I am not merry, but I do beguile the thing I am by seeming otherwise. Come, how wouldst thou praise me?
I am about it, but indeed my invention comes from my pate as birdlime does from frieze, plucks out brains and all. But my muse labors, and thus she is delivered. If she be fair and wise, fairness and wit, the one's for use, the other useth it.
Well praised. How if she be black and witty?
If she be black, and thereunto have a wit, she'll find a white that shall her blackness hit.
Oh, worse and worse.
How if fair and foolish?
She never yet was foolish that was fair, for even her folly helped her to an heir.
Oh, these are old fond paradoxes to make fools laugh in the alehouse.
which fair and wise ones do.
Oh, heavy ignorance! Thou praisest the worst best. But what praise couldst thou bestow on a deserving woman? One that, in the authority of her merit, did justly put on the vouch of very malice itself.
She that was ever fair and never proud, had tongue and will and yet was never loud, never liked gold and yet never went gay, fled from her wish and yet said, now I may. She that being angered, her revenge being nigh, bade her wrong stay and her displeasure fly. She that in wisdom never was so frail to change the cod's head for the salmon's tail. She that could think and never disclose her mind, see suitors following and yet never look behind. She was a white, if ever such white were, to...
Oh, to do what?
To suckle fools and chronicle small beer.
Oh, slave and impotent inclusion! Oh, do not learn of him, Amelia, though he do be thy husband. How say you, Cassio? Is he not a most profane and liberal counselor?
He speaks home, madam. You may relish him more in the soldier than in the scholar.
He takes her by the palm. Aye, well said, Whisper. If as little a web as this, lion snares great a fly, as Cassio. Smile upon her. Do, I will guide thee in thine own courtship. You say true. 'Tis so indeed. If such tricks as these strip you out of your lieutenantry, it'd been better you had not kissed your 3 fingers so oft. Yet again you're most apt to play the servant. Very good. Well kissed. An excellent courtesy. 'Tis so indeed. Yet again your fingers to your lips, with their clyster pipes for your sake. The Moor! I know his trumpet.
'Tis truly so.
Oh, let's meet him and receive him.
Oh, lo, where he comes!
Oh, my fair warrior!
Oh, my sweet Othello!
It gives me wonder great is my content to see you here before me. Oh, my soul's joy! If after every tempest come such calms, may the winds blow till they've awakened death, and let the laboring bark climb hills of seas Olympus high, and doth again as low as hell's from heaven. If it were now to die, 'twere now to be most happy. For I fear my soul hath her content so absolute, that not another comfort like to this succeeds an unknown fate.
Oh, the heavens forbid that our loves and comforts should increase as our days do grow.
Oh, amen to that, sweet powers. Oh, I cannot speak enough of this content. It stops me here. It is too much of joy. And this, the greatest discords be that e'er our hearts shall make.
Oh, you are well tuned now. But I'll set down the pegs that make this music as honest as I am.
Come, let us to the castle. News, friends, our wars are done. The Turks are drowned. How does my old acquaintance of this isle? Honey, you shall be well desired in Cyprus. I have found great love amongst them. Oh, my sweet, I prattle out of fashion, and I dote in mine own comforts. I prithee, good Iago, go to the bay and disembark my coffers. Bring thou the master to the citadel. He is a good one, and his worthiness does challenge much respect. Come, Desdemona. Once more, well met at Cyprus.
Do thou meet me presently at the harbor. Come hither. If thou beest valiant, as they say, base men being in love have then a nobility in their natures more than is native to them. List me. The lieutenant tonight watches on the court of guard. First, I must tell thee this. Desdemona's directly in love with him.
With him? Why, 'tis not possible.
Lay thy finger thus, and let thy soul be instructed. Mark me, with what violence she first loved the Moor, but for bragging and telling her fantastical lies. To love him still for prating, let not thy discreet heart think it. Her eye must be fed, and what delight shall she have to look on the devil? When the blood is made dull with the active sport, there should be, again to inflame it against satiety of fresh appetite, loneliness and favors, sympathy in years, manners and beauties, all of which the Moor is defective in. Now, for want of these required conveniences, she'll find her delicate tenderness abused begin to heave the gorge, disrelinquish, and abhor the Moor. Very nature will instruct her in it and compel her to some second choice. Now, sir, this granted, as it is a most pregnant and unforced position, who stands so eminent in this degree as Cassio does? A knave very voluble, no further conscionable than in the mere form of civil and humane seeming for the better compass of his salt and most hidden loose affections. Why? None. Why not a slipper and subtle knave that has an eye can stamp and counterfeit advantage, though true advantage never presents itself. Devilish knave. Besides, knave is young, handsome, and have all those requisites that folly and green minds look after. A pestilent, complete knave, and the woman hath found him already.
I cannot believe that in her. She's full of most blessed condition.
Blessed figs, and the wine she drinks is made of grapes. If she had been blessed, she would have never loved the Moor. Blessed pudding. Didst not see her paddle with the palm of his hand? Didst not mark that?
Yes, that I did, but that was but courtesy.
Lechery, by this hand, an index, an obscure prologue to the history of lust and foul thoughts. They met so near with their lips that their breaths embraced together. Fill in his thoughts, Rodrigo. If these mutualities so marshal the way, hard in hand comes the master and main exercise, the incorporate conclusion. Pish. Sir, be you ruled by me. I have brought you from Venice. Watch you tonight for the command. I'll lay it upon you. Cassio knows you not. I'll not be far from you. You find some occasion to anger Cassio, either by speaking too loud, or tainting his discipline, or from what other course you please, which the time shall more favorably minister.
Well,
sir, he's rash, and very sudden in choler, and happily may strike at you. Provoke him that he may. For even out of this will I cause these of Cyprus to mutiny, whose qualification shall come into no true taste again, but by the displanting of Cassio. So, shall you have a shorter journey to your desires by the means, I shall then have to prefer them, and the impediment most profitably removed, without the which there was no expectation of our prosperity.
I will do this, if you can bring it to any opportunity.
I do beseech you. Meet me by and by at the citadel. I must fetch his necessaries ashore. Farewell.
Adieu.
That Cassio loves her, I do well believe it. That she loves him, it is apt, and of great credit. The Moor, albeit I endure him not, is of a constant, loving, noble nature, and I dare think he'll prove to Desdemona a most dear husband. Now, I do love her too, not out of absolute lust, though peradventure I'd stand accompaniment for as great a sin, but partly led to die at my revenge, for I do suspect the lusty Moor hath leaped into my seat. The thought whereof doth like a poisonous mineral gnaw my inwards, and nothing can or shall content my soul until I'm even with him, wife for wife. Or, failing so, yet that I put the Moor at least into a jealousy so strong that judgment cannot cure. Which thing to do? If this poor trash of Venice, whom I trace for his quick hunting, stand the putting on, I'll have our Michael Cassio on the hip, abuse him to the Moor in the rank guard, for I fear Cassio with my nightcap too. Make the Moor thank me, love me, and reward me for making him so egregiously an ass and practicing upon his peace and quiet, even madness. 'Tis here, but yet confused. Knavery's plain face is never seen till used.
Good Michael, look you to the guard tonight. Let's teach ourselves that honorable stock not to outsport discretion.
Iago hath direction what to do, but, notwithstanding, with my personal eye will I look to it.
Iago is most honest. Michael, good night. Tomorrow with your earliest, let me have speech with you. Come, my dear love. The purchase made, the fruits are to ensue, the profits yet to come between me and you. Good night.
Welcome, Iago. We must to the watch.
Oh, not this hour, Lieutenant. 'Tis not yet 10 of the clock. Our general cast us thus early for the love of his Desdemona, who does not therefore blame. They have not yet made wanton the night, and she is sport for Jove.
She is an exquisite lady.
Oh, and I'll warrant her. Full of game.
Indeed, she's a most fresh and delicate creature.
What an eye she has. Methinks it sounds a parley of provocation.
An inviting eye. And yet, methinks right modest.
When she speaks, is it not an alarm to love?
She is indeed perfection.
Well, happiness to their sheets. Come, Lieutenant, I have a stoop of wine, and here without are brace of Cyprus gallants that would fain have a measure to the health of Black Othello.
Not tonight, good Iago. I have very poor and unhappy brains for drinking. I could well wish courtesy would invent some other custom of entertainment.
Oh, but they are our friends! But one cup, I'll drink for you.
I have drunk but one cup tonight, and that was craftily qualified too. And behold, what innovation it makes here. I am unfortunate in the infirmity, and dare not task my weakness with any more.
What, man? 'Tis a night of revels! The gallants desire it.
Oh, where are they?
Here, at the door, I pray you call them in.
I'll do it, but it dislikes me.
If I can fasten but one cup upon him with that which he hath drunk tonight already, he'll be as full of quarrel and offense as my young mistress's dog. Now, my poor fool Rodrigo, whom love hath turned almost the wrong side out, to Desdemona hath tonight caroused potations pottle deep. And he's to watch. Lads of Cyprus, noble swelling spirits that hold their honors at a wary distance, the very elements of this warlike isle have I tonight flustered with flowing cups. And they watch too. Now amongst this flock of drunkards, might I put our Cassio in some action that may offend the isle. But here they come. If consequence do but approve my dream, my boat sails freely both with wind and stream.
Oh God, they have given me a rouse already.
Good faith, a little one, not past a pint as I am a soldier.
Some wine, ho!
Hey!
And let me a Kennegan king. Let me a Kennegan king. A soldier's man, a life's modest man, why the back to a soldier king. Some wine, boys!
Hey! For God, this is an excellent song.
I learned it in England, where indeed they are most potent in potting. Your Dane, your German, and your swag-bellied Hollander, drink, ho! Are nothing to your English.
Is your Englishman so expert in his drinking?
Why, he drinks you with facility. Your Dane dead drunk, he drinks not to overthrow your almond. He gives your Hollander a vomit ere the next pottle can be filled.
To the health of our general.
I am for it, Lieutenant, and I'll do you justice.
Oh, sweet England. King Stephen was a worthy peer, and breeches cost him but a crown. He held them 6 all too dear, with that he called the tailor's gown. He was a wight of high renown, and thou art but of low degree. 'Tis pride that pulls the country down, and take thine old cloak about thee. Some wine!
Oh God, this is a more exquisite song than the other.
Will you hear it again?
No. For I hold him to be unworthy of his place that does those things. Well, God's above all, and there be souls must be saved, and there be souls must not be saved.
It's true, good lieutenant.
For mine own part, no offense to the general, nor any man of quality, I hope to be saved.
And so do I too, lieutenant.
Aye, but by your leave, not before me. The lieutenant is to be saved before the ancient. Let's to our affairs. Let's have no more of this. God, forgive us our sins. Gentlemen, let's to our business. Do not think, gentlemen, I am drunk. This is my ancient. This is my right hand, and this is my left hand. I am not drunk now. I can stand well enough, and I speak well enough.
Excellent.
Why, very well then, you must not think then that I am drunk.
To the platform, masters. Come, let's set the watch.
You see, this fellow that has gone before, he's a soldier fit to stand by Caesar and give direction. And do what see, his vice is to his virtue, a just equinox, the one as long as the other. 'Tis pity of him. I fear the trust Othello puts him in, and on some odd time of his infirmity would shake this island.
But is he often thus?
Is evermore the prologue to his sleep? He'll watch the horologe a double set if drinks not rock his cradle.
It were well the general were put in mind of it. Perhaps he sees it not, or his good nature prizes the virtue that appears in Cassio and looks not on his evils. Is not this true?
How now, Rodrigo? After the lieutenant. Away!
And 'tis great pity that the noble Moor should hazard such a place as his own second, with one of an ingraft infirmity. It were an honest action to say so to the Moor.
Not I, for this fair island. For I do love Cassio well, and would do so much to cure him of his evil.
Help! Help!
But hark, what noise?
Zounds, you rogue, you rascal!
What's the matter, Lieutenant?
A knave teach me my duty? I'll beat the knave into a twig and bottle! Beat me? Dost thou prate, rogue? No!
Nay, Lieutenant, I pray you, sir, hold your hand!
Let me go, sir, or I'll knock you o'er the master.
Come, you're drunk.
Drunk?
Where you go out and cry mutiny. Nay, good lieutenant! God's will! Gentlemen! Help, masters! Sir! Montano, sir, lieutenant! Hold! This is a goodly watch indeed. Who's that which rings the bell? Diablo, hold, the town will rise! God's will, lieutenant, hold! You will be ashamed forever.
What is the matter here?
Zounds, I bleed still. I am hurt to the death. He dies!
Hold for your lives!
Hold! Lieutenant! Sir, Montano, gentlemen, have you forgot all place of sense and duty? Hold, the general speaks to you, hold, for shame.
Why? How now? How? From whence ariseth this? Are we turned Turks, and do to ourselves that which heaven hath forbid the Ottomites? For Christian shame, put by this barbarous brawl. He that stirs next to carve for his own rage holds his soul light. He dies upon his motion. Silence that dreadful bell! It frights the isle from her propriety! What is the matter, masters? Honest Iago, that looks dead with grieving. Speak, who began this? On thy love I charge thee.
I do not know. Friends all, but now, even now, in quarter and in term like bride and groom divesting them from bed. And then, but now as if some planet had unwitted men, swords out and tilting one another's breast in opposition bloody. I cannot speak any beginning to this peevish odds, and would in action glorious I had lost those legs that had brought me to a part of it.
How comes it, Michael, you are thus forgot?
I pray you pardon me. I cannot speak.
Worthy Montano, you were wont to be civil. The gravity and stillness of your youth the world hath noted, and your name is great in mouths of wisest censure. What is the matter that you unlace your reputation thus and spend your rich opinion for the name of a night brawler? Give me answer to it.
Worthy Othello, I am hurt to danger. Your officer Iago can inform you. While I spare speech which something now offends me, of all that I do know, nor know I aught by me that said, were done amiss this night, unless self-charity be sometimes a vice, and to defend ourselves it be a sin when violence assails us.
By heaven, my blood begins my safer guides to rule, and passion, having my best judgment, Kali stays to lead the way. Soon, if I stir, if I do but lift this arm, the best of you shall sink in my rebuke. Give me to know how this foul rout began. Who set it on? And he that is proved in this offense, though he had twinned with me, both in a birth, shall lose me. What? In a town of war, yet wild, the people's hearts brimful of fear. to manage private and domestic quarrel, in night and on the court and guard of safety. 'Tis monstrous. Iago, who began?
Partially offend or leagued in office, thou dost deliver more or less than truth. Thou art no soldier.
Touch me not so near. I'd rather have this tongue cut from my mouth than it should do offense to Michael Cassio. Yet I persuade myself to speak the truth, shall nothing wrong him. Thus, it is General Montano and myself being in speech, there comes Othello crying out for help, and Cassio following him with determined sword to execute upon him. Sir, this gentleman steps into Cassio and entreats his pause. Myself, the crying fellow, did pursue, lest by his clamor, as it so fell out the town might fall in fright. He, swift of foot, outran my purpose, and I returned the rather, for I heard the fall and clink of swords, and Cassio, high an oath which, till tonight, I may ne'er say before. When I returned, for this was brief, I found them close together at blow and thrust, even as again they were when you yourself did part them. More of this matter cannot I report. But men are men, the best sometimes forget. Though Cassio did some little wrong to him, as men enraged strike those that wish them best. Yet surely Cassio, I believed, received from him that fled some strange indignity which patience could not pass.
I know, Iago, thy honesty and love doth mince this matter, making it light to Cassio. Cassio, I love thee, but nevermore be officer of mine. Look, if my gentle love be not raised up, I'll make thee an example.
What's the matter, dear?
All's well now, sweet, and come away to bed. Sir, for your hurts, myself will be your surgeon. Lead him off. Iago, look with care about the town, and silence those whom this vile brawl distracted. Come, Desdemona, 'tis the soldier's life to have their balmy slumbers waked with strife.
What, are you hurt, Lieutenant?
I, past all surgery.
Mary, heaven forbid.
Reputation. I have lost my reputation, Iago. I have lost the immortal part of myself, and what remains is bestial. My reputation, Iago, my reputation.
As I am an honest man, I thought you had received some bodily wound. There's more sense in that than in reputation. Reputation is an idle and most false imposition, oft gotten without merit, and lost without deserving. You have lost no reputation at all, unless you repute yourself such a loser. What man? There are more ways to recover the general again. You are but now past in his mood, a punishment more in policy than in malice, even as one would beat his offenseless dog to a frightened and furious lion. Sue to him again, and he's yours.
I would rather sue to be despised than to deceive so good a commander with so slight, so drunken, and so indiscreet an officer. Drunk and speak parrot and squabble, swagger, swear, and discourse fustian with one's own shadow. Oh, thou invisible spirit of wine, if thou hast no name to be known by, let us call thee devil.
What was he that you followed with your sword? What had he done to you?
I know not.
Is it possible?
I remember a mass of things, but nothing distinctly. A quarrel, but nothing wherefore. Oh, gods, that men should put an enemy in their mouths to steal away their brains, that we should, with joy, pleasance, revel, and applause, transform ourselves into beasts.
Aye, but you are now well enough. How came you thus recover?
It hath pleased the devil drunkenness to give way to the devil wrath. One unperfectness shows me another to make me frankly despise myself.
You are too severe a moraler. As the time, the place, and the condition of this country stands, I could heartily wish this had not befallen. But, since it is as it is, mend it for your own good.
I will ask him for my place again. He shall tell me I am a drunkard. Had I as many mouths as Hydra, such an answer would stop them all. To be now a sensible man, by and by a fool, and presently a beast? Oh, strange Every inordinate cup is unblessed, and the ingredient is a devil.
Come, good wine is good familiar creature indeed, if it be well used. Exclaim no more against it. And, good lieutenant, I think you think I love you.
I have well approved it, sir. I'm drunk.
You or any man living may be drunk at a time, man. I'll tell you what you shall do. Our general's wife is now the general. I may say so in this respect, for he hath devoted and given up himself to the contemplation, mark, and denotement of her parts and graces. Confess yourself freely to her. Importune her help to put you in your place again. She is of so free, so kind, so blessed a disposition. She holds it a very vice in her virtue not to do more than she has requested. This broken joint between you and her husband, entreat her to splinter. And my fortunes against any lay worth naming, this crack of your love shall grow stronger than it was before.
You advise me well.
I protest in sincerity of love and honest kindness.
I think it freely. And betimes in the morning I shall beseech to the virtuous Desdemona to undertake for me. Oh, I am desperate of my fortunes if they check me here.
You are in the right. Good night, Lieutenant. I must to the watch.
Good night, honest Iago.
What? And what's he then, that says I play the villain? When this advice is free I give, and honest probal to thinking, and indeed the course to win the Moor again? For 'tis most easy the inclining Desdemona to subdue in any honest suit. She's framed as fruitful as the free elements. And then, for her to win the Moor, were to renounce his baptismal seals and symbols of redeeming sin, his soul is so infettered to her love that she may make, unmake, do what she list, even as her appetite shall play the god with his weak function. Am I then a villain to counsel Cassio to this parallel course directly to his good? Divinity of hell. When devils will the blackest sins put on, they do suggest at first, with heavenly shows, as I do now. For whiles this honest fool plies Desdemona, and she for him pleads strongly to the Moor, I'll pour this pestilence into his ear, that she repeals him for her body's lust. However much she strives to do him good, she shall undo her credit to the Moor. So will I turn her virtue into pitch, and out of her own goodness make the net that shall enmesh them all. Oh no, Rodrigo.
I do follow here in the chase. Not like a hound that hunts, but one that fills up the cry. My money is almost spent. I have been tonight exceedingly well cudgeled, and I think the issue will be I shall have so much experience for my pains. And so, with no money at all and a little more wit, return again to Venice.
How poor are they that have not patience? What wound did ever heal but by degrees? Thou knowest we work by wit, and not by witchcraft and wit. Depends on dilatory time. Didst not go well? Cassio hath beaten thee, and thou, by that little hurt, hast cashiered Cassio. Though other things grow fair against the sun, yet fruits that blossom first will first be ripe. Content thyself a while. By the mass! 'Tis morning. Pleasure and action make the hours seem short. Retire thee, go where thou art billeted. Away, I say, you shall know more hereafter. Nay, get thee gone. Two things are to be done. My wife must move for Cassio to her mistress. I'll set her on. Myself a while, to bring the Moor apart and bring him jump where he may Cassio find soliciting his wife. Aye, that's the way. Dole not devised by coldness and delay.
In happy times, Iago.
Look, have you not been to bed then?
Why, I have made bold, Iago, to send it to your wife. My suit to her is that she, to the virtuous Desdemona, may procure me some access.
I'll send her to you presently, and I'll devise a means to draw the Moor out of the way, that your converse in business may be more free.
I humbly thank you for it. I never knew a Florentine more kind and honest.
Good morrow, good lieutenant. I'm sorry for your displeasure, but all will sure be well. The general and his wife are talking of it, and she speaks for you stoutly. The Moor replies that he you heard is of great fame in Cyprus and great affinity, that in wholesome wisdom he might not but refuse you. But he protests he loves you, and needs no other suitor but his likings to take the safest occasion by the front to bring you in again.
Yet, I beseech you, if you think it fit or that it may be done, give me advantage of some brief discourse with Desdemona alone.
Pray you, come in. I will bestow you where you shall have some time to speak your bosom freely.
Oh, I am much bound to you.
These letters give, Iago, to the pilot. By him do my duties to the Senate. That done, I will be walking on the works. Repair there to me.
Well, my good lord, I'll do it.
This fortification, gentlemen, shall we see it?
I wait upon your lordship.
Assure thee, good Cassio, I will do all my abilities in thy behalf.
Good madam, do. I warrant it grieves my husband as if the case were his.
Oh, that's an honest fellow. Do not doubt, Cassio, but I will have my lord and you again as friendly as you were.
Bounteous madam, whatever shall become of Michael Cassio, he's never anything but your true servant.
I know it. I thank you. You love my lord. You have known him long. And be thou well assured, he shall in strangeness stand no further off than a politic distance.
Aye, but lady, that policy may either last so long, or feed upon such nice and waterish diet, or breed itself so out of circumstances that I, being absent and my place supplied, my general will forget my love and service.
Do not doubt that. Before Amelia here, I give thee warrant of thy place. Assure thee, if I do vow friendship, I'll perform it to the last article. My lord shall never rest. I'll watch him tame and talk him out of patience. His bed shall seem a school, his board a shrift. I'll intermingle everything he does with Cassio's suit. Therefore, be merry, Cassio, for thy solicitor shall rather die than give thy cause away.
Madam, here comes my lord.
Madam, I'll take my leave.
Why, stay, and hear me speak.
Madam, not now. I am very ill at ease, unfit for mine own purposes.
Well, do your discretion.
Ah, I like not that.
What dost thou say?
Nothing, my lord, or if, I know not what.
Was not that Cassio parted from my wife?
Cassio, my lord? No, sure, I cannot think that he would steal away so guilty-like seeing you coming.
I do believe 'twas he.
How now, my good lord? I have been speaking with a suitor here, a man that languishes in your displeasure.
Who's it you mean?
Why, your Lieutenant Cassio. Good my love, if I have any grace or power to move you, his present reconciliation take. For if he be not one that truly loves you, that errs in ignorance and not in cunning, why I have no judgment of an honest face. I pray thee, good love, call him back.
Oh, went he hence now?
Yes, faith. So humbled that he hath left part of his grief with me to suffer with him. Good love, call him back.
Not now, sweet Desdemona, some other time.
But shall it be shortly?
The sooner, sweet, for you.
Shall it be tonight at supper?
No, not tonight.
Oh, tomorrow, dinner then.
I shall not dine at home. I meet the captains at the citadel.
Why then, tomorrow night, or Tuesday morn, on Tuesday noon, or night, on Wednesday morn. I pray thee name a time, but let it not exceed 3 days. In faith, he's penitent, and yet his trespass and our common reason, save for they say wars make examples out of professed, it's not almost a fault to incur a private check. When? Tell me, Othello. I wonder in my soul what you should ask of me that I should deny or stand so mammering on. What?
whate'er you be, I am obedient.
Excellent, wretch! Perdition catch my soul, but I do love thee, and when I love thee not, chaos has come again.
My noble lord,
What dost thou say, Iago?
did Michael Cassio, when you wooed my lady, know of your love?
He did, from first to last. Why dost thou ask?
But for satisfaction of my thought, no further harm.
Why of thy thought, Iago?
I did not think he'd been acquainted with her.
Oh yes, and went between us very oft.
Indeed.
Indeed. I indeed. Discernst thou aught in that? Is he not honest?
Honest, my lord?
Honest, aye, honest.
My lord, for aught I know.
What dost thou think?
Think, my lord?
Think, my lord. By heaven, he echoes me as if there were some monster in thy thought too hideous to be shown. Thou dost mean something. I heard thee say even now, thou likest not that when Cassio left my wife. What didst not like? And when I told thee he was of my counsel in my whole course of wooing, thou criedst indeed, and didst contract and purse thy brow together as if thou then hadst shut up in thy brain some horrible conceit. If thou dost love me, show me thy thought.
My lord, you know I love you.
I think thou dost, for I know thou art full of love and honesty, and waste thy words before thou givest them breath. Therefore these stops of thine frighten me the more, for such things in a false, disloyal knave are tricks of custom, but in a man that's just, they're close dilations working from the heart that passion cannot rule.
For Michael Cassio, I dare be sworn I think he is honest.
I think so too.
Men should be what they seem. Or those that are not what they might seem none.
Certain men should be what they seem.
Why then? I think Cassio's an honest man.
Nay, but there's more in this. I prithee, speak to me as to thy thinkings as thou dost ruminate, and give thy worst of thoughts the worst of words.
My lord, pardon me. Though I am bound to every act of duty, I am not bound to that all slaves are free to. Utter my thoughts, why say they are vile and false, as words that palace whereunto foul things sometimes intrude not. Who is that breast so pure but some uncleanly apprehensions he leads and laudes and sessions sit with meditations lawful?
If thou dost conspire against thy friend, Iago, if thou but thinkst him wronged and makest his ear a stranger to thy thoughts.
I do beseech you, though I perchance am vicious and my guest, as I confess, it is my nature's plague to spy into abuses, and oft my jealousy shapes faults that are not. For your wisdom, then, from one that so imperfectly conjects, would take no notice, nor build yourself a trouble out of his scattering and unsure observances. It were not for your quiet, nor your good, nor my manhood, honesty, and wisdom, to let you know my thoughts.
Soons, what dost thou mean?
Good name in man and woman, dear my lord, is the immediate jewel of their souls. Who steals my purse, steals trash, 'tis something, nothing, 'twas mine, 'tis his, and has been slave to thousands, but he that filches from me my good name, robs me of that which not enriches him, and makes me poor indeed.
By heaven, I'll know thy thoughts.
You cannot, if my heart were in your hand, nor shall not, while still in my custody.
Huh.
Oh, beware, my lord, of jealousy. It is the green-eyed monster which doth mock the meat it feeds on. That cuckold lives in bliss who, certain of his fate, loves not his wronger. But oh, what damned minutes tells he, or who dotes, yet doubts, suspects, yet strongly loves.
Oh, misery!
Poor and content is rich and rich enough, but rich as fineless is as poor as winter to him that ever fears he shall be poor. Good God! The souls of all my tribe defend from jealousy.
Why? Why is this? Thinkest thou I'll make a life of jealousy and follow still the changes of the moon with fresh suspicions? No. To be once a doubt is once to be resolved. Exchange me for a goat when I should turn the business of my soul to such exsufflicate and blown surmises matching thy inference. 'Tis not to make me jealous, to say my wife is fair, feeds well, loves company, is free of speech, sings, plays, and dances well. Where virtue is, these are more virtuous. Nor from mine own weak merits will I draw the smallest fear or doubt of her revolt, for she had eyes and chose me. No, Iago, I'll see before I doubt. When I doubt, prove, and on the proof there's no more but this, away at once with love or jealousy.
I am glad of it, for now I have reason to show you the love and duty I bear you with franker spirit. Therefore, as I am bound, receive it from me. I speak not yet of proof. Look to your wife, observe her well with Cassio. Were your eye thus, not jealous nor secure, I would not have your free and noble nature out of self-bounty be abused. Look to it. For I know our country disposition well. In Venice, they do let God see the pranks they dare not show their husbands. Their best conscience is not to leave it undone, but keep it unknown.
Dost thou say so?
She did deceive her mother, marrying you, and when she seemed to shake inferior looks, she loved them most.
And so she did.
Why? Go to then. She that so young could give out such a seeming to seal her mother's eyes up close as oak, she thought 'twas witchcraft. But I humbly do beseech you for too much loving you.
I am bound to thee forever.
I see this hath a little dashed your spirits.
Not a jot, not a jot.
Faith, I fear it has. I hope you will consider what a spoke comes from my love. My lord, I see you are moved. I pray you not to strain my speech to grosser issues, nor to larger reach than to suspicion.
I will not.
Should you do so, my lord, my speech should fall into such vile successes as my thoughts aimed not. My lord, I see you are moved.
No, not much moved. I do not think but Desdemona's honest.
Long live she so, and long live you to think so.
And yet, how nature erring from itself.
Aye, there's the point. As to be bold with you, not to effect any proposed matches of her own clime, complexion, and degree, wherein we see all things nature tends. Foe, one may smell in such a will most rank, foul disproportions, thoughts unnatural. But, pardon me, I do not distinctly speak of her, though I may fear her will, recoiling to her better judgments, may fall to match you with her country form, and haply repent.
Farewell, farewell. If more thou dost perceive, let me know more. Set on thy wife to observe. Leave me, Iago.
My lord, I take my leave.
Why did I marry? This honest creature doubtless sees and knows more, much more, than he unfolds.
My lord, I would I might entreat your honor to scan this thing no farther. Leave it to time. Although 'tis fit that Cassio have his place for, sure, he fills it up with great ability. Yet if you please to hold him off a while, you shall by that perceive him and his means. Note if your lady strain his entertainment with any strong or vehement importunity. Much will be seen in that. In the meantime, let me be thought too busy in my fears, as worthy cause I have to fear I am. And hold her free, I do beseech your honor.
Fear not my government.
I once more take my leave.
This fellow's of exceeding honesty, and knows all qualities with a learned spirit of human dealings. If I do prove her haggard, though that her jesses were my dear heartstrings, I'll whistle her off, and let her down the wind to pray a fortune. Happily, for I am black, and have not the soft parts of conversation that chamberers have, for I am declined into the vale of years, yet that's not much. She's gone. I am abused, and my relief must be to loathe her. Oh, curse of marriage, that we can call these delicate creatures ours and not their appetites. I had rather be a toad and live upon the vapor of a dungeon than keep a corner in the thing I love for others' uses. Yet, 'tis the plague of great ones. Prerogative are they, less than the base. 'Tis destiny unshunnable like a death. Even then this forked plague is fated to us when we do quicken. Look, where she comes. If she be false, oh, then heaven mocks itself. I'll not believe it.
How now, my lord? Your dinner and the generous islanders by you invited to attend your presence.
I am to blame.
Why do you speak so faintly? Are you not well?
I have a pain upon my forehead here.
Faith, that's with watching. Oh, 'twill away again, but let me find it hard. Within the hour it will be well.
Your napkin is too little. Let it alone. Come, I'll go in with you.
I'm very sorry that you are not well. I'm glad I have found this napkin. This was her first remembrance from the Moor. My wayward husband hath 100 times wooed me to steal it, but She so loves the token, for he conjured her she should ever keep it. She reserves it evermore about her to kiss and talk to. I'll have the work taken out and give it to Iago. What he will do with it, heaven knows, not I.